Ah, first dates. That ritualistic dance where two people meticulously pretend to be the very best versions of themselves, while my brain, a true saboteur and a master of inside jokes that only I understand, decides to go on a complete full-scale strike. If you were to ask me what the probability of one of my romantic dates going wrong is, I would say it's as certain as death and taxes, with the added bonus of a memorable gaffe that will haunt me for years. I don't flirt. I cause trauma. I don't seduce. I stain silk blouses. Nice. And this is the story of the night I proved, once again, that my flirting skills are non-existent, and that my destiny is the sofa, eternally wrapped in a fleece blanket, alone. The victim, mean, the lucky woman this time was Claire. Beautiful, smart, funny, with a smile that genuinely lit up the room, and a patience that, as I would soon discover, rivaled that of a saint. She was the whole package, the kind of person who deserved a movie-quality first date, complete with soft music, brilliant conversation, and a happy ending. I, on the other hand, am the screenwriter of the cinematic disaster, worst real-life catastrophes, and that night, I was about to direct the most embarrassing sequence of my career. She, poor thing, was completely oblivious to the hurricane of disasters that I was in human form, and which was about to manifest in an upscale, dimly lit Italian restaurant. The die was cast. My anxiety was already pounding away in my head, a drum solo of panic, even before I left the house. I arrived early. Of course, I always arrive early. Not out of punctuality, but because I need time to survey the terrain. Choose the best chair, the one that allows me the fastest escape, if necessary. Or at least lets me simulate a strategic retreat to the restroom and mentally rehearse my opening lines. My plan was to be charming, witty, the perfect gentleman. My opening phrase, in my head, was a gem. Wow, the place is just as charming as you are. Perfect. In reality, when she walked in, and that radiant smile crossed the doorway, my brain short-circuited. All the poetry evaporated, and I blurted out a brilliant, "Hey, how's it going?" accompanied by an incredibly awkward hybrid of a handshake and a side hug that left her visibly confused. She barely knew that was just the warm-up. First massive blunder, successfully completed. The maestro of shame waved his baton. We sat down at the table. She, elegant and confident, picked up the menu with natural ease. Me. My hands were sweating so profusely that the single bead of moisture trickling down my forehead almost peeled the laminated paper. I tried to sound sophisticated, to impress her, to disguise the panic I felt at having to decipher minuscule letters in a poorly lit environment. What's the house wine? Something with earthy notes. I, projecting a voice that I hoped sounded like an experienced sommelier. But which came out sounding more like a teenager going through a voice change. The waiter, consummate professional with a look that said he'd seen it all and had likely already added me to the day's problem customers list, simply replied, "We have the house Cabernet and the Chardonnay, sir." I ordered the Cabernet because it seemed like the more adult and less questionable choice, praying it didn't have actual dirt notes. The conversation, miraculously, flowed. For her, my mind, a dessert of ideas, could barely process her questions without my subconscious offering a scathing, sarcastic commentary on what I should be saying. She, with her gentle smile, asked, "So, what do you like to do in your free time?" My chance. I could have talked about my normal hobbies, which are normal, I swear, like reading, playing video games, or attempting to cook and almost setting the kitchen on fire. But no. My brain, in its splendor of sabotage, decided that the absolute best answer would be, "Oh, I've been studying quite a bit about the reproductive life of certain species of fungi. It's fascinating how some release spores in a way that resembles tiny, microscopic explosions, and how the symbiosis with certain plants is crucial for the ecosystem." Yes, I was being serious. And no, I have no idea why. Claire blinked. Her smile froze for a fraction of a second, like a piece of software crashing. I, on the other hand, was gesticulating wildly, drawing the tiny microscopic explosions in the air. Silence. Silence that weighed more than 10 years of gym membership fees. She tried to pivot the conversation with a patience I didn't deserve. That's interesting. And how was your day, besides the fungi? I determined to dig the hole even deeper, replied with the brutal honesty of someone who should not be on a date. Oh, it was quiet. I nearly blew up the microwave trying to heat up a frozen pizza. For a second, I thought a culinary apocalypse was about to happen. Like, if there was a bomb in the kitchen and the clock was ticking and I had to disarm it, I'd fail miserably. My brain just freezes up. She looked at me, and the silence returned. But this time, it was a silence loaded with a mix of pity, confusion, and a definite flicker of terror in her eyes. My forced smile crumbled. The food arrived. Thank God, a distraction. A momentary truce. She ordered a beautiful pasta dish, and I ordered a steak, because at this point, just wanted something that felt safe and didn't involve any more complex choices. The waiter, with the delicacy of a heart surgeon, placed the plates in front of us. My eyes met Claire's. A new silence, but this one was a little less tense. Decided this was my chance at redemption. Make a toast. Be the gentleman the first pretended to be. I raised my hand to pick up my glass of Cabernet. To toast to our promising date, it was too late for that. But hope is the last thing to die, or the first thing to abandon me in public before laughing in my face. My hand, which was already damp with sweat, slipped. Slow motion. The glass of red wine flies in a dramatic and treacherous arc. The blood-red liquid spreads in the air like a watercolor of disaster. Not on my shirt, which would have been less bad, not on the tablecloth, which the waiter could fix, but square onto Claire's white silk blouse. A glorious, vibrant stain that expanded like an abstract work of despair, covering a vast area of the impeccable fabric. I was horrified. Claire's face was first surprised, then resigned, like someone watching the universe conspire against them in a very specific and personal way. Oh my God. Oh my God. I am so sorry. I'm a disaster. I'm an idiot. Let me. I can clean it. I stammered, grabbing a paper napkin and, in a desperate attempt to be useful, started rubbing the stain, which, as anyone who has ever spilled red wine knows, only makes the situation about 300% worse. With water? No. Water makes it worse, right? Hydrogen peroxide. Do you have baking soda? I have some in the car, I think. Claire, with a saintly patience that I definitely did not deserve, gently pulled my hand away, but with the firmness of someone ready to call the police, she slowly stood up, her dignity intact despite the abstract artwork across her chest. It's okay. Seriously. I think I need to go now. It was an experience. Experience. That word echoed in my head like an alarm bell, signaling the end of the world. Nada, we'll talk later. Nada, it was nice meeting you. Just a plain, simple goodbye, clothes staining, fungi talking, microwave nearly exploding creature. She paid her portion of the drink, gave me a small, tense smile, and walked out. Without looking back, the sight of her shrinking figure in the restaurant doorway, leaving behind a trail of dignity and stained silk, will forever be etched in my memory. I stayed there, shrunken in my chair, watching her disappear. A thought bubble over my head, if visible, would have read, "There is nitrogen monoxide, hole deep enough." I spent the next 15 minutes hunched over the table, pretending to check my phone while my body prepared for the inevitable spontaneous combustion. I paid the bill in silence, avoiding the waiter's gaze, who probably added my name to the blacklist of customers who should eat alone at home, and, preferably, under a protective plastic sheet. I got home, deleted all the dating apps from my phone, and decided that from now on, my great love would be the sofa. And maybe a houseplant. At least the plant doesn't wear white silk blouses. My flirting skills? Oh, they don't exist. I don't flirt, I cause trauma, and I stain blouses. I deserve a Nobel Prize for romantic antisociality. At least the pizza didn't explode the microwave this time. And that, my friends, is a small victory. But the quest for a minimally normal date continues. Or perhaps it's just the plot of my next nightmare. What was your worst date? That story you only whispered to your closest friends with shame. Share it in the comments below. I need to know I'm not the only human being who has turned a date into a personal catastrophe. Hit the like button on the video if you laughed at my misery and if you're related, of course. And please, if you haven't subscribed to this channel of misadventures and existential daily reflections yet, click the subscribe button and hit the bell. Because I guarantee the next saga of social horror is already on its way, and maybe this time I'll manage not to stain anyone's clothes. Or maybe I'll start wearing a bib on dates. You never know.